Hello everyone, thank you so much for attending the webinar on the Dulini Private Game Reserve in South Africa in the Sabi Sands. I do try and keep these relatively short, and I know your time is very busy, and yet sort of trying to get obviously all of the information that we need in. If any of you've got any questions, there is a little attendee chat area, so you can put in any questions that you've got, and what I'll do is go to them at the end and see if you've got any questions and answer them that way, unless I see them popping up when we're talking about something relevant. But as I said, I'll try and keep it to the point. I will have inevitably quite a wide range of people and the information that they need on this webinar. So bear with me if I'm telling you things that you already know, like access points and things like that. But I will try and cover all the points. But just let me know if you've got any questions, just type them in the box and we can go through them. Okay, starting on the webinar now. Is that going to be kind and go forward? Okay, sorry, I thought it wasn't going to change slides then. So here we've got the first slide, which is the map of where Dulini Private Game Reserve is, the Dulini Collection. So it's in the western sector of the Sabi Sands, and it's over 10,000 hectares. So we've got lovely big traversing rights. I'm sure some of you will know some of the other lodges in the area. We've got obviously Savannah, which I also do the marketing for. We've got Ulasaba, Dubi, Nyanti. So we've got a good sort of like a variety of lodges in our area. But the traversing is great. We've got lots of sort of varied ground. We've got lovely riverbeds, which you'll know a lot about because Dulini's on the riverbed. But we've got the lovely open plains at the bottom around where Savannah Private Game Reserve is. So there's lovely variety there. And we also have a very strict rule about how we game view here, that we can only ever put two vehicles on a sighting at one time. And that's better for your guests because it means that they aren't, you're not feeling the animals are overcrowded, better for the animals. But they also get that exclusive feeling when they're doing the game viewing. So that is throughout that western sector. So access into Dulini is through either into Ulasaba directly, which is just west of Dulini there, which is a 20-minute game drive back to the lodge. That's the most direct and the most, but it is the most expensive way in as well, but it is the most direct with Federal Air. Or the other alternatives is either from Skukuza or Nelspruit Airport and then in through Newington Gate. The time is about an hour and 45 minutes, Nelspruit an hour and a half, Skukuza, because for Skukuza you have to come out of the park and then go round again. It's very easy. The road transfer is very easy. People sometimes self-drive in, and that's fine. Obviously, then they have to use the Dulini vehicles. But access is very straightforward, no matter which way they choose to use. So I'm going on to the Dulini Collection itself. As you know, we have got three lodges. We've got Dulini Lodge, Leadwood Lodge and River Lodge. Some of these have been undergoing some refurbishment, which is why you're here in this webinar, I should think, to be hearing about that. So they're all looking amazing and pristine. Actually, Leadwood is to be, its refurbishment is happening in October, so that's very exciting. And Dulini Lodge and River Lodge are looking incredible, and I've seen them myself. I was out there in May. So they're privately owned. We have got, so the idea behind the Dulini Collection is that we have got 16 suites across the three lodges, and that we offer a standard throughout those three lodges. So it doesn't matter which one you select for your clients or the ones that you find you've got availability in. The idea being that you know that you are getting this incredible service, amazing standard and beautiful rooms. There will, of course, be certain reasons why you prefer one to another. And I think everyone on this webinar, you'd all choose different ones because River Lodge is beautiful because it's just been refurbished and it's got this amazing setting and river views. Dulini is just, Dulini is so well established. It's got that special ingredient that you can't create. It is just there. It is the Dulini experience, and it's so well established and #1 on TripAdvisor for a very good reason. And the beautiful Leadwood Lodge because it's smaller than the others, and some people love that exclusivity. So they've each got a USP about them, but essentially they are all offering the same things. They're all situated on riverbeds, whether they be dry or running, and I'll go through which ones, what they offer. We've got the usual things that you would expect from a 5-star lodge such as these, which is the complimentary Wi-Fi and laundry service. So a little on to our vehicles and game viewing. So what I'm going to do in this webinar is actually go through what these sort of common values and what our offerings are before going into some details about the individual lodges. We only ever put 6 up in a vehicle, unless of course your clients are traveling with 7 or 8 and they choose to go more. We can always fit more people in, but every single person has got their individual bucket seat. So everyone's got a window seat, if you like, and this central console that you can put your hats and your coats. And we go above and beyond in what we offer. So fleece lined ponchos, binoculars, camera mounts, and they're beautifully presented. We have trackers and rangers on every single vehicle, so not just the ranger. You do have 2 for a vehicle, and it's a relationship between the ranger and the tracker, which we're particularly proud of. And people often comment about the way those 2 work together, and their friendship and their how they work as colleagues is incredible, and we've got that really right. So we're proud of that. So you can see this is where we've got we've got field guides as well in all of the vehicles. So they're all of an amazingly high standard. So 6 up, and they're very comfortable as well. So the safari experience, we've talked that we've got 10,000 hectares on that western sector, and we've discussed that you can only put two vehicles in a sighting as well. We also offer bushwalks as well. Obviously, all the sort of like sundowner drinks as well, which go down, which are very popular. Tea and coffee in the morning, out in the bush. But these walks are lovely, and we can either do a short, sort of like 40-minute walk, depending on the weather and how hot it is mostly, but walking down by the river and getting up close and personal and really seeing the little animals and the small insects and the interesting things at ground level. People really enjoy that. So we regularly do the bush walks as well. I probably don't need to tell any of you about how incredible the game viewing in the Sabi Sands is. My favourite story at the moment is a tour operator who I spoke to last month, who said he had the strange experience to be able to claim that he went to the Sabi Sands and he was there for 2 or 3 days and he didn't see a leopard the whole time. Many of you will realise how extraordinary that is, because there are so many leopards there that you almost see a leopard in every single game drive. It is an amazing experience. The big 5 are there, and for people that want to get up close and personal with a game, that want to take amazing photographs, and the Sabi Sands is second to none, really. And then hospitality is very key at Dulini. We've got a very high staff to guest ratio, and it's not just a numbers game. It's not about putting more staff in and then just sort of claiming, well, we've got enough people to look after you. It's how it's how they kind of interact with the guests, which are the most important things. They know when to back off. They know when to go up and chat them up. They know when to say, oh, can I get you a cup of coffee, without sort of feeling that they're intruding on their privacy. So that's where it's so amazing. Everyone loves the personal butler service, and they always want to take their butler home with them, which I'm not allowed to do. So the staffing is really important, because the staffing is so correct and right at Dulini. Every time they introduce one new member of staff, they're really thoughtful and careful about how they do it to make sure that they have the balance absolutely right. Obviously food and drink is a massive part of the safari experience. At Dulini, we offer house wines and spirits, and then we also offer the premiums as well, which are an extra cost. But each of the Dulini lodges, you can walk into the cellar and then choose which wines and spirits that you would like, and that's a really nice touch that people enjoy. So the staff go the extra mile. I love this photograph of one of our butlers walking on water, but I don't think that they always can go that far for our guests, but they do always make sure that it's a really unique and special experience for every single person there. Dining really is an eating safari. I always say about Dulini that it is very much fine dining. It is like eating in a London restaurant. It is not just about the quality of food and the taste of food, but also how it is presented on the plate. And it makes people it definitely over delivers on the expectations that people have, and that's always a nice thing to have, and be able to sort of like wow people with what we offer. We dine in a different place every night. The head chef is called Altus, and so each of the Dulinis have got their own kitchen. 2 main kitchens at River Lodge and Dulini Lodge, and Altus goes around, the head chef goes around all of them. He goes and tries to interact with the staff, with the guests as much as he can. Obviously, we know from you what their dietary requirements are, but very often when we actually do a face-to-face, we find out a little bit more about them as well. So that is really key. He sources everything from scratch. He makes everything from scratch, and he's very thoughtful about where he sources everything from. So he's a fascinating man to talk to, actually, and his passion for food, you can see, runs through every single meal in all 3 of the lodges. This actually is a sort of first slide of what the new River Lodge looks like, but I'm using it as an example of lots of different places that we dine. So this here is in the river frontage of River Lodge underneath the sausage tree. And then this is looking out, so we can do it on private decks. We can also do bush dining. Boma dining is very popular. So each of the 3 lodges have their own Boma area. So we do try and offer Boma dining to everyone who is staying, because people love that. So the little extras that we also offer, we've got wellness centre and gyms. So we've got a gym at River Lodge and at Dulini Lodge. Leadwood Lodge is only half a kilometre from River Lodge, and so they can use that one. And at River Lodge, it's got a beautiful big pool that you sort of swim against, so you can do a swim against the jet. We offer massages and treatments at all 3 lodges, and also very important to us is the community projects that we take part in and we help with. Those of you who have met Ian and Sue will know all about how proud they are to be involved with projects like Project Dignity for the girls, and for them giving back to the community is so important. Guests can get we can involve them as much or as little as they would like to, and very often if they want to talk about the projects that we're involved in, then we're very happy to do that. And then just on the final thing on the sort of roundup of the sort of general things is about safety, which is something that we subscribe to, or Dulini Collection subscribes to. It is a paramedic who is just 15 minutes away in Singita, and he is on call, and it means that if anyone is concerned, tripped over, suspected, I don't know, they've got a cut that they're worried about, he's on call, and it's a doctor paramedic, so it is peace of mind for us and peace of mind for you and peace of mind for your guests. So that is often called on and makes everyone feel a lot happier. So going on to the 3 lodges now, as I've said, you're going to have a standard of service throughout. So we've got our 3 lodges. We've got Dulini Lodge, which is 6 rooms, River Lodge, which is 6 rooms, and Leadwood Lodge, which is 4 rooms. Now that is one of the changes I'll talk to you about, the change in number of rooms at Leadwood. So starting with Dulini Lodge, it is the most established out of all of them. It came out of the Ambion portfolio before the others. I think it's 6 or 7 years ago now. But they're constantly updating and constantly upgrading it. One of the things, whilst I remember to say it, all of the lodges have got heated plunge pools. So that's across all of all 16 rooms. So Dulini, you can see it's a sort of it's actually a bit more of a traditional out of Africa feel about the Dulini rooms, but the attention to detail is brilliant. So underneath that mirror, you can see in the desk there's the sort of little horns with their little push-up drawers, and inside you have got banks of plugs. So you've got UK, European, US. It's all conveniently where it should be, not too far from the bed for charging your mobile, your smartphones. It's just everything is so well laid out. Please be assured on things like decking inside and out, all have been redone. As soon as they need to be renewed and refreshed, they are. Refurbishments happen every sort of couple of years. But we're sitting at a lovely high occupancy figure. So, it does mean that it does get a lot of wear and tear. So we're very, very aware of that. We make sure that, occasionally stop for a 2-week period to make sure that we're really refreshing it and making sure it's as good for the first people as it is for the last people. Lovely, great big decking, beautiful bathrooms, inside showers, outside showers, again, throughout the whole of the Dulini collection. Double vanity units everywhere, heated plunge pools we've talked about. Now Dulini Lodge is set on the Mabrac River, which is a dry riverbed. It's got this beautiful tranquil setting. When I was there in May, then there were beautiful elephants coming down the river, and we were sitting by the plunge pool, and they came and drank water from the plunge pool. So it's a lovely place just to hang out. You can see all the game going by, and yet it still feels very private. There's a good space between all of the rooms, so you don't feel you certainly don't hear or see the people either side of you. All the rooms are the same also throughout within each lodge. So you wouldn't say, oh, could you recommend the best room at Dulini Lodge? Is it room 3 or room 7 or 6? No, 7 rooms. You wouldn't have that. They are all identical and they are as good as one another. The only difference is if maybe somebody's got some mobility issues and wishes to be a little bit closer to the lodge, and then we can recommend the best place for them. So this is an image of the main lounge area, again, recently refurbished with soft furnishings. But the beauty about Dulini really is the garden and how tranquil the garden is. We have one strand of wire going all the way around, electric, which just keeps the bigger game, like the buffalo and the elephants out. But everything else kind of wanders in, and it's lovely seeing these bushbuck and nyala, and they all play around the tables, and they're very relaxed when they're in Dulini. So you do feel that even when you're in having dinner or having lunch or whatever, and when you're within the grounds of Dulini, then you do feel that you are sort of still on safari. And we do walk people back to their rooms at night, but during the day they're welcome to wander around. But at night, just in case we've got some sharper predators around, we do make sure that people are escorted back to their rooms. There's a main swimming pool area at Dulini, which generally, because people have got their plunge pools around, like relaxing there. But if we've got bigger groups, then this sort of main decking area is often used, and it overlooks the river. It's lovely. So that is Dulini Lodge, the 6 rooms at Dulini. And so moving on to Leadwood Lodge, the second one. Now, Leadwood used to only be 3 rooms. We had 4, but we only ever sold 4 if we were selling the lodge on an exclusive use basis. And the reason behind that was because we only put 6 up on a vehicle, and if we're selling it FIT. So we only ever used to sell 3 rooms FIT. We are now have been given permission to run an extra vehicle on the western sector. So we can now run 4 rooms FIT at Leadwood Lodge, and if we are full and we have all 4 rooms filled, then there will only be 4 up on each vehicle. If we've only sold 3 of the 4 rooms, then we will just do 6 up on a vehicle and run 1 vehicle. So that is the major change we've had there. I think this is a good thing because people like to be exclusive, but actually 3 is quite small. 4 people, sometimes people get worried about 3 because if it's sort of just, one couple and then there's a sort of group of 4, it actually sort of 8 is a better number. It will still be as exclusive, will still offer the same privacy. I think the whole point about Leadwood is that you do have more privacy, and there's sort of like whereas at Dulini you've got the beautiful garden that you sort of hang out more in the garden and interact with other guests, whereas at Leadwood I think the feeling is a bit more about sort of like privacy and exclusivity. Leadwood is on the corner of the Mabrac and the Sand River, the Sand River being the flowing river, so it's got beautiful setting. This is up in the sort of treehouse decked bit, which is beautiful. And the other USP about Leadwood is the size of the rooms. It is absolutely colossal, and the size of the plunge pools, which are actually more like lap pools. They're so big, all heated, looks amazing. Leadwood is getting its refurbishment starting last day of September, so it'll be closed during October and opens again. I think it's middle of November, but those will all be they will be blocked out on res requests anyway. Yeah, it's really popular for the way that people feel, the privacy and the and yet it's a sort of lovely contemporary feel to the rooms, but it'll be really nice when it's had a facelift, and it'll be up to the standard, I feel, then of the other 2 lodges, because they've been most recently refurbished. I think it makes Leadwood sort of feel like it's sort of just ready for that step up as well. So fires in all the rooms throughout Dulini as well, throughout the Dulini lodges. So it's brilliantly laid out at Leadwood. So Leadwood is going to continue with the contemporary feel as well. So it will have that contemporary look about it, which is lovely. Outside showers, inside showers, baths. There's going to be some changes to this communal area as well. All just improvements about the layout and how the guests flow through the area. So all been incredibly well thought out, and will be positive changes there. This is the Boma area, which again is more contemporary but really quite fun. Boma area in Leadwood. And then now to River Lodge, which I know you've all been waiting to hear about, because in May we closed. In fact, we opened in May, but it was from the middle of February. We closed for 6 weeks to totally refurbish River Lodge. And when I say, it's not a refurbishment, it was pretty much a rebuild. They made huge changes. The whole entrance, the rooms, the layout, using the river vista a lot more, taking advantage of this incredible view. So the setting for River Lodge, for me, the USP is the setting of River Lodge. It's not only that you have a view onto the river, but that you can see all the way down the river. You can see a long way. It feels very open. It feels all the game comes to you. You can enjoy watching it in the tranquility of your room and go out on your game drive. We were here it was our last stop out of the 3. And actually we elected, because we've been going on sort of like game drives, we decided actually not to go on a game drive, and just relaxing here and enjoying the peace and seeing all the game around was just amazing. So the entrance now, I know some of you will have already been to River Lodge, but probably not since the changes. But you now, second you come into River Lodge, you immediately are opened up to the river view, whereas before you came into the back of the lodge and then would go down into sort of some quite dark area before it opened up in front of you. The decoration, the interior design is incredible, and you literally go around going, oh, I could do that on my wall, and I can do that on my wall. Oh, I'll definitely take these home. And then if you're like me, you realise that your low-ceilinged cottage in the Cotswolds won't quite fit those amazing lamps and hanging lights that they've got there. But I'm really jealous of them. It just looks spectacular. It feels like a homely setting, the way they've sort of set it out and laid it out. But very much, as I said, looking onto the river. But they've got areas they can make cosy during the colder winter months. With fireplaces, and yet they can also open it up and take an advantage of that wonderful view. That's the sausage tree we looked at before, which is great for sitting underneath, if a little risky with all those big sausages about to fall on your head. But it's always a very beautiful area to be. So whereas Dulini Lodge has the garden, and River Lodge has the bush to sort of kind of look onto, and it's lovely. These are the rooms. So what they've done is they've opened them up a lot again, where you can open up these big double doors and step out onto your decking, and that extends a lot further than it was previously. Before, River Lodge rooms were very, very dark. The bathrooms were dark slate, and you couldn't access your outside shower from the bathrooms, and we've changed all of that so that you can walk straight out of your bathroom very logically to the outside shower, which you would have thought was the normal thing to do. But the transformation is really incredible. Heated plunge pools, and everything you need, the butler service and everything that you would expect from all the other lodges. So we're really proud that we've now got three lodges that are all up to the same standard. We've also, from 2019, we have common rated them. So that makes it easier for you because they are now of the same standard. The only thing I would say is between now and the end of 2018, River Lodge is still £2,000 per person per night cheaper than Leadwood and Dulini, because it was having its refurb done in May, and it's almost like a sort of refurbishment special offer. So if you have got guests who are still looking to book in 2018, have a look at River Lodge, because the prices are amazing, and then they go common rated from the beginning of 2019. So take advantage of that. We do have some availability around the Christmas time, which is unusual. So I don't know if any of you, some of you will get my late availability email, and if you don't and you would like it, let me know. Basically, we just set out where we have got slightly bigger gaps in the next 6 months, so that at a sort of like at any one time you can just see where there's a bit more opening. So if you would like that, then send me a message either on here or email me. So do we have any questions? Must have done a really good presentation then if no one's got any questions. But if you do and you don't want to put it on here or want to send me an email, then it's, are the lodges family friendly? Amy, thank you for asking that question, because that is something I forgot to mention. So we only take children over the age of 8 years across the lodges, apart from Leadwood, which is 12 years old and over, unless you are taking exclusively. So if you took Leadwood and took all 4 rooms exclusively, or 3 rooms, but as long as you were taking it exclusively, we'll take children of any age. Although I believe that South Africa does have restrictions on viewing and how close you can get to the big cats, and that's sort of also at the discretion of our rangers. But we do see, say, 8 years and above. So yeah, let me know if you've got some children which are borderline ages. Let me know, because if we feel that they're sort of like well behaved, and you've got a 12 and a 10 and a 7-year-old, then I know that they would certainly look at that and consider it. Can they share a suite? Yes, they can. We can put an extra bed in. It depends on the ages. Yes, we can put 1 extra bed in for a child to share a suite. What becomes more complicated if you've got very young children, because they are so well spread out, for the privacy for when people are in couples, your children are not necessarily right next door. You're in shouting distance, I suppose, from the decking. So it would be sort of slightly older children. It is suitable for. But yes, we can put extra rooms, but we don't have extra beds in rooms, but we don't have interconnecting. Because I do the marketing for Savannah, and we do a lot of swap selling between the two. What I would say, if you've got 4 in a family, and you are looking for family rooms, then Savannah Suite, which is interconnecting, is the one you probably want to go for. And if they are in the Savannah Suite, there is no age restriction at Savannah for that. So if you're looking for family accommodation, Savannah Suite is probably the better one to go for anyway. Okay, good. Any other questions before I sign off? Okay, so I will send this, or a version of this webinar out to you, that you can either share with colleagues, or if people had to sort of like jump off halfway through. But thank you again for your time. Yeah, I'll be doing some more webinars. I think I'll do one on Savannah and one on Old Marlow, probably before the end of August. Okay, thanks very much for your time. Take care. Bye bye.